y'all feel free to talk. We're going to start here right at 7. So we've got about 3 minutes to go. Good evening. This meeting of the Tyler ISD Board of Trustees was previously called to order. The presence of a quorum has been established and the meeting has been duly called. The notice of the meeting has been posted in the time and manner required. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. As always, we will start our meeting with a prayer and a pledge. Mr. Martinez.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here today for the school board meeting, we come before you with humble hearts and minds, seeking your guidance and wisdom. Continue to remind us that all we do here today and all that we accomplish is for you and in your service. We ask that you bless this meeting with your presence, that we may be united in our efforts to serve the students and families that we are called to serve. We pray for the teachers, staff, and administrators in our schools, that they may be empowered and equipped to provide the best possible education for our children. We also lift up the parents and caregivers of our students, that they may be supported and encouraged as they partner with us in the education of their children. Above all, we ask that you help us to keep our focus on what is most important, the growth and development of our children, and that all of our decisions and actions may reflect your love, grace, and wisdom. We offer this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Okay, thank you, Mr. Martinez. We do have some business to handle coming out of executive session. And the first is an exciting position to fill over at Bonner Elementary. Dr. Crawford?
Elizabeth Gomez is who we're recommending to be the principal at Bonner Elementary School. She's currently an assistant principal at our highly successful Birdwell Dual Language Immersion School. Ms. Gomez is a Tyler ISD product. She spent her middle school years at Moore and she graduated from Tyler High. We're really excited about the Bonner Bees and what they're going to be receiving today as far as a recommendation to the board for possible action or action is Elizabeth Gomez for principal at Bonner Elementary School.
Great. I'll go ahead and entertain a motion on that item.
President Washman, I move that we approve Elizabeth Gomez as the new principal at Bonner Elementary.
Thank you, Ms. Bergfeld. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, the motion carries. Welcome to Birdwell, Ms. Gomez.
Bonner.
Bonner. I said. My apologies. I meant to say Bonner.
Good evening, President Washman, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Marty Crawford. I would like to thank Tyler ISD and the board for cultivating quality schools for our community. As an alumni of Tyler ISD, I've had the opportunity to receive a solid formative education. As an educator, I was afforded the experiences and the mentors that have led me to this very day. I am honored to be given the opportunity to pour back into the community as the principal of Bonner Elementary. Celebrating with me tonight, the people who keep me on my toes, my father, Erasmo Garcia, my mother, Irma Lerma, and my 3 beautiful children, Isabella, Manny, and Emma. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations.
Ms. Gomez, who was principal at Moore whenever you were in school there? Claude Lane. Do you hear, Claude, are you here? Mr. Lane, are you here tonight? You are the Claude father.
Okay, and we do have a little housekeeping to take care of. So item B here is possible action to terminate the Chapter 21 probationary contract of Holly Soto. Do I have a motion on that item?
Mr. President, I move that the board terminate the Chapter 21 probationary employment contract of Holly Soto effective at the end of the current contract term in the best interests of the district, and that in conjunction with administration, the required notices be authorized and issued.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, the motion carries. And then the other item we have is possible action to propose the non-renewal of the term contract of Laura Riggins.
Mr. President, having heard and considered the administration's recommendation, I move that the board propose the non-renewal of Chapter 21 term employment contract of Laura Riggins, and that the required notices be authorized and issued.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, the motion carries. Thank you all for bearing with us. This is a business meeting, and sometimes we have to handle some business. Okay,
Mr.
special
Washburn?
recognitions, yes.
Although before we move to special recognition, on page 5, you also have some consideration of contracts for administrators.
Okay. Great, do I have a motion on that
You have
item?
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the contracts on the administrators.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries.
Okay, I need you to take a separate action on item number 2. Those were term contracts.
Okay.
These are probationary contracts.
Let's do item number 2.
All right.
All right, motion to approve the probationary contracts.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, and the motion carries.
Number 3, the approval of the renewal of non-certified administrator professional contracts.
Okay, do I have a motion on that item?
There you go.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, and the motion carries.
Outstanding. That last bunch was your CFO.
Great.
She's very important here, Tasha Bjork.
He's always doing these things, Tasha, sorry. Okay, now we have special recognitions. What many of you are here for tonight.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Crawford. Tonight, we're going to start with our special recognitions for our district students of the month for April. And our elementary student of the month is Daniel Guy. He's a 5th grade student at Clarkston Elementary School. The secondary student of the month is Kylie Hallman, a senior at Tyler High School. And we have a short little video for each of these students for you to watch tonight.
Throughout the school year, we see successful student outcomes happening all around us. Whether in the classroom, on the court, on the field, or across the stage, we celebrate these successes. This is our school district, and these are our students of the month. Let's take a look at this month's elementary student of the month.
I'm Daniel, and I'm the elementary student of the month for April.
As Daniel navigates through his 5th grade year as a Clarkston Cougar, he exhibits a proactive attitude every day.
It's important to be a leader at my campus because some people doesn't know some stuff and you can help them so they can learn.
Accountability and paying attention are 2 important factors of Daniel's success. It's what gets noticed the most by his teachers.
Daniel is an amazing student. He's one of those that he works really hard. He does everything he can to learn. And I wish I had a whole classroom full of Daniel.
Let's move on to our district's secondary student of the month, Kylie Hallman.
My name is Kylie Hallman. I'm a senior in high school, and I am the district's secondary student of the month for the month of April.
Kylie is a senior at Tyler High. She is actively involved in the criminal justice program at the CTC and is the captain of the debate team.
I've been on the debate team since sophomore year of high school. I've competed in Lincoln Douglas debate competitions, extemporaneous speaking. I've done public forum debate. I've reached a degree of excellence, actually, for my work in the debate team, and I'm the sole captain of the team at Tyler High School.
Kylie serves as a mentor and leader on her campus. She has remarkable grades and represents her school and community with pride and class. Kylie's debate coach and history teacher, Mr. Sheldon McGowan, had this to say.
Kylie is the type of student who wants to master their craft so that she can be a benefit and use for others. She wants to help everybody around her succeed. She's the type of student that goes above and beyond to make sure that everyone is successful. And in Tyler ISD, that's the type of student that we want to have representing us as a district.
Let's congratulate these outstanding students as we continue to reflect successful student outcomes throughout the district. Sponsored by Christus Trinity Mother Francis Health System.
Okay, so unfortunately, Daniel became ill today and he was not able to come. So we're going to move right into our secondary student of the month, and we'd like Kylie to come to the front. So next we have a group to recognize. It's the Tyler High School Color Guard, and they earned first place in the team flag rifle division, and they received Grand National Championship title. So we have 9 of the students here today. If you would like to come up, we're going to just do a group photo, and y'all would come up. And that, all right, and next we have Mauro Rivera. He's an 11th grade student at Tyler Legacy High School, and he has been selected to perform with the Texas All-State Symphonic Band, which he plays the tuba. He was chosen for this prestigious honor through a competitive process held this year across the state at district, region, and area levels. This was Mauro's first time performing as a member of the Texas All-State organization. And next we have Skippy Sandoval here, and I'm going to ask him just to go ahead and come up because you have quite the honor here. He is the first ever freshman orchestra to accomplish in 20 years at Tyler High School this feat that he's accomplished. So let's give him a big congratulations. And Skippy earned a First Division Superior Rating and Gold Medal in the Regional UIL Orchestra competition. He performed exceedingly challenging cello solo from memory, advancing him to state competition. And again, he's the first ever freshman in 20 years. And now we have Stephanie Guyana. She's an 11th grade student at Tyler Legacy High School. Stephanie, you can come on up here. She received Best of Show in Digital Image Manipulation in the State Skills USA competition. And last but not least is our District Teacher of the Month, Melissa O'Neill. She is a gifted and talented teacher at Andy Woods Elementary School, and her principal sent quite the long little message for us to read tonight. So we'll kind of narrate it a little bit, but the reason she was recognized is because she creates exciting activities and projects for the gifted and talented students and makes activities into competitions to keep them engaged. She's taught 4th and 5th grade for multiple years and is always available to plan and support those grade levels and students. In addition to being an outstanding teacher and team member, Ms. O'Neill also serves as a staff PTA technology representative. She attends every meeting to ensure all information is reported accurately. Thank you, Ms. O'Neill. And that's it.
And if you are here for the special recognitions and don't want to stick around for the fun, exciting rest of the school board meeting, you won't hurt our feelings if you get up and go and celebrate with who you're celebrating. In the meantime, do we have any public participation this evening? We do not? Okay.
I can imagine who you were talking.
Okay, we do not have any public participation tonight, so next on our agenda is the approval of minutes from March 1st and March 27th. Do I have a motion on those items?
Move that we approve them.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, and the motion carries. We have a curriculum audit update.
Coming to the presentation table, you have two doctors, Dr. Laney Norman and Dr. Johnita Ward, to provide the board an update on some of the things that that go on behind the scenes. We are certainly outcomes driven, a lot of data that gets presented to y'all. The hay's been in the barn now. Here we are at testing season, but let's talk about some of the curriculum, the fun stuff that actually goes into teaching and learning. Dr. Norman?
I can't believe no one wanted to stay for my curriculum audit update. Good evening, President Washman, Dr. Crawford, Board of Trustees. Well, we are excited to bring this update to you guys. Well, I have learned a few things about successful board presentations, and that is that they're brief and I don't read the slides. So challenge accepted, although I did tell Dr. Crawford this morning that this would be a challenge because I am most passionate about this topic, and you guys hired me to do this job and talk about curriculum. So, but I will keep it brief. So first of all, you guys know that TASA, they provide a lot of supports to school districts and services. And one of the things that they do is they provide a curriculum audit training. And there's different levels. There's levels 1, 2, and 3. And so as a district, we have not been through this training before. And so we decided to bring this training to us. And we went through that as a curriculum team. And who was in the room that day was all of curriculum and instruction. This included our curriculum coordinators, myself, our directors, our instructional specialists that actually write our curriculum, our chief of school leadership, Dr. Ward, and a few of our selected principals were in the room that day. And so it was 3 days of intensive training, as you can imagine, but it was well worth it, and we're excited to share that new knowledge with you tonight. The purpose of this, though, is to support districts with the second most important CIA team, which is curriculum, instruction, and assessment. And the reason this is so important is that one of the most important things that we have control over every single day that hits our campuses is the curriculum that goes in front of our students every single day. And so we have to make sure that it is guaranteed, and that is the purpose of this curriculum audit. So when I first came here last summer, I did what a lot of leaders do, and I sat down with every single principal in our district, including our curriculum leaders, and I asked them the same question. And the question that I asked them is, do you think we have a guaranteed and viable curriculum? And what I mean by guaranteed is that do students have the opportunity to learn the essential content, the core content that we have, and do we have viable, and by viable I mean in the amount of time that they need to cover all the standards that the state expects of us. And as you can imagine, I got varied responses. And so when I sat down with Dr. Gropel at the end of my meetings to reflect on how the conversations went and where we need to go as a district from the curriculum perspective, I realized that I really asked the wrong question. I should have asked this question here. How do we know we have a guaranteed and viable curriculum? And that is when I realized that we need to be able to say that we do have a guaranteed and viable curriculum. And it's not just what I think is guaranteed and viable, but do we have data to inform our decisions? And do we have standards that we're comparing our curriculum to be able to say that we do have that guaranteed and viable curriculum? And that is really what led us to this journey and bringing TASA in to do this audit training. Okay, so In the training, it is based off of research-based standards that you take your curriculum documents and you compare them against these standards. And these are the 5 standards. And board, it starts with you guys, the first standard, which is governance and leadership and the district vision and accountability. And you can kind of see this as a cycle. You first have to have the first thing in place, right, before you move to the next one, which is our curriculum and the quality and alignment. Then you have to check for consistency and equity of that design and delivery when it hits the campus, and then that feedback of your quality of assessments to inform those decisions, and then the productivity. And then you have to start back at the top. We all know that curriculum and assessments, they're constantly evolving. And so anytime there's a change, so hypothetically this year, say there was a STAR redesign, you have to go back to your standards and you have to cross-check your curriculum and assessments compared to these standards. And that is what's great about them, is we now have been trained on these standards and can say anytime there's a change. Next up is our TEKS are changing for science. And so we have to change every single curriculum document for science in the next 2 years. And we will be able to go off of these standards. And we're going to have to start back up at the top. Do we have policies and procedures in place? Then we have to make changes in curriculum, then consistency and delivery, and then assessments. And so when you go through the audit, they make it really simple when they go to districts and they train you. And you have 4 essential questions. First, is your curriculum there? Is it any good? Is it used? And does it make a difference? And so on the curriculum and instruction side, we really focus on those first 2 questions. And Dr. Ward, in a second, she's going to talk about the delivery side and what that means from the campus perspective. I am excited to report to you guys. I didn't want to include all the rubrics because they're comprehensive to show you guys how we compared our curriculum against the rubrics. But I am excited to report that with our core curriculum, we scored really high on our first frame. They did give us the opportunity to start that process. We were not able to finish in 3 days because you have to get through the full training. But I will talk about at the end the next steps and how we're going to do a comprehensive internal review moving forward. And now Dr. Ward's going to take us through the campus perspective.
Good evening, board. And as Dr. Norman said, it was myself and 2 principals that were in the room, and we had a lot of aha moments. And one question that Dr. Ebel, the presenter, asked us to reflect on: are we a district of schools or a school district? And what he meant by that, a district of schools are schools that are operating in silos. They're doing their own thing. Some campuses are using the curriculum, some campuses aren't. They're using different resources. And we know in Tyler ISD, we have 17 elementary campuses. And we have transient populations. We can have a kid that could go to 3 or 4 elementary schools in 1 year. And our goal is to make sure that regardless of the elementary school that student is in, he has access to the good stuff, he or she. If they're in a 3rd grade math class and they move across town to another elementary school, that student should be able to just pick up where they left off and not feel like I'm learning something totally different than I learned in my other school. So we definitely want to be considered a school district where there's alignment across teachers are using the same resources. He gave us an example of, it was one campus and there were 3 different teachers. They gave the same test, but the results varied. And so the principal did walkthroughs, and what she found out was every teacher was using something totally different. And that is not our goal, because of course you have the curriculum, but we also want to make sure that our resources are aligned. So our principals, as Dr. Norman said, we can have it, it's there, but we have to use it in order to know that it's making an impact. So as our principals were in the room, they really were able to gain a lot of insights and a lot of why behind the curriculum development. And we're excited. We are going to be bringing Dr. Ebel back to work with some more of our principals regarding curriculum implementation. And as we said, our goal is to make sure that we're providing all teachers with good resources that are research-based, aligned, so that, again, all of our students have access to the good stuff no matter what school they attend in Tyler ISD.
Okay, so our next steps after our 3-day training is to conduct our internal curriculum audit. And so this also includes not only our core curriculum, but this includes CTE, our fine arts group. Our directors were there with us. And so we are already working on that action plan. Also, we're going to create a district strategic action plan. Some of these projects are going to be short-term. We can do them over the summer, but some of them are going to take a year. They're going to be longer projects, and so we're going to create that strategic action plan, including a curriculum management plan. So anytime we have an update out of Austin, we have our curriculum management plan. We looked at a few from other districts where that they have to score a certain score on the standards before they publish anything in front of teachers. And so you can even have it in the update that you have another content score it within your team before you can move it in front of publish it in front of teachers. And so that could be something that we look at. Also, like Dr. Ward said, we're bringing Dr. Ebel back to train our principals and then also update our teachers on any curriculum updates that we make over the summer and roll this out in our August professional development with them. And then the last thing I'll leave you with is this quote from John Hattie, who's a lead researcher in education. He says, "To know thy impact." And this is a great step for our curriculum in knowing our impact on students and our district on successful student outcomes every single day. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody on the board have any questions or comments on the curriculum audit update?
Yeah, so I'll start, I guess. This seems really exciting to me. Just, it feels like we're at a point now where we're working on like performance improvement processes now, where it's not playing catch up anymore. Like we're really starting to get to the point where we can like grow kids and push kids. Where did this come from? Is this something that the state is asking us to do? Is this something that we're just trying to do? Like what's the background of this?
Well, a year ago, we hired a new chief academic officer, Dr. Norman here, sitting at the table with us. And as we were going through that conversations about if she were to come here, what are some things that she thinks we needed to do? And obviously with her, a lot like y'all afforded me to do when I first got here, being able to go throughout the organization and talk to a lot of folks to see what we already had in place and what we didn't have in place from her years of being able to do some of this. And that was one thing that she came in and said, I think we really need to do a curriculum audit. Not only would it help her, it would help all of us go through and kind of see where some of our gaps were. Our whole team knows that we're trying to get, and Dr. Ward said this, all kids deserve the good stuff. Equity has been a bad word that's been used a lot lately in the last 2 years, but it does make sense. That actually, we use that term for years when you start talking about larger school systems and making sure that one campus is high achieving and maybe other campuses that aren't, are they still getting the good stuff? That's equity, making sure that they're getting brought up to speed. So that's why we did this, was to get ourselves a good inspection about where we're at. We're still playing catch up in some places. It's not nearly as difficult as it was, right, Dr. Ward, 9 years ago, but we still have some of those gaps, but how can we get better? What's next? We've had principals ask us what's next, and that is something that I think that you can probably get out of this is a really good inspection of what we've got going. We've got good principal room. Y'all just approved all their contracts tonight. We've got good mid-management there as well, and so I think this is going to help us do that. And the last thing I'll say is when you start talking about some of those districts that we are chasing. I heard Shoeless Bedford ISD. You look at maybe even a Grand Prairie ISD that's got a lot of diversity in those, and we're at that 88 or whatever number grade we have right now, the B+, and we're chasing the A. What are some of the things that they do really well? What have they been doing really well for a long time? And that is on the C&I side of having a viable curriculum that is pervasive throughout the school system. My team is, sorry, this is a long answer. We could talk about this all night long, right, Dr. Norman? My team has heard this, that if we're trying to crescendo at the STAR exam to give us our rating, and we embrace assessment, how are we not aligning everything? How are we not bundling everything that we're doing to get there? High quality products. In fact, you're going to hear about a lot of that with the legislative session, high quality instructional materials. That's coming. But we've been talking about that, haven't we, Dr. Ward, for a long time now. This is part of that process, Mr. Martinez, to make sure that Griffin is getting the same good stuff that they're getting at Rice, that they're getting at Douglas, that they're getting at Jack or Owens. We're not terrible at that. We've worked really hard at that even before Dr. Norman came in. She's given us a fresh perspective and then ordered this curriculum audit on top of it. I've asked for it, but I've always been kind of told, no, we don't really need to do that. We can write our own. But now we have a fresh face to come in here, a fresh set of eyes to take a look at it, and Dr. Norman's leading that.
Anybody else?
Like I say, I'm very pleased to hear the information because I think that there has been some differences from one campus to the other, and I think looking at the curriculum is one good place to start. And because I think that some curriculums were much better than others, and now that we can look at the curriculum as a whole and make sure that the best is being implemented is real important.
Absolutely.
So she spoke of Dr. John Hattie. Where on his matrix of things that are meaningful as far as academic achievement of students, we know Tier 1 instruction, a great teacher in front of every kid, is the highest yield. Where is curriculum on all that?
Dr. Carrington, if you want to throw out an effect size, I don't have the effect sizes memorized, but I'd say it's pretty high, but he might have it.
You have a ballpark, Dr. Curidan?
Between 0 and 1.3.
There you go.
So,
You can get you an answer for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'll be something to give to them because there's some other things that are interesting about effect sizes and what's meaningful with achieving students versus not. Obviously, it's the instructor. There's no doubt about it. But a viable curriculum is ranked up there as well. Thank you, Dr. Curidan, from the cheap seats. Date night back there for y'all? Okay. Okay.
So, from a parent perspective, you know, if I'm a parent in Tyler ISD and I want to look at my child's curriculum, and kind of what I'm hearing is eventually I'll go back. How do I find the curriculum that my child might be, you know, learning from? Just as a parent, is it online? Is it on the school's website?
Well, right now, all of our curriculum is accessible through Canvas. And
Okay.
so the teachers have join codes that they have all of our curriculum in. And
Okay.
so that is primarily where it's accessed through.
And then eventually, maybe if my child is wherever in the district, in theory, we'll be able to go and in third grade, at this point, we should be learning this, kind of get everybody along the same path, building up and crescendoing to testing time, where
Yeah,
we're hitting our full stride.
Yeah, so like refrigerator curricula is been a big thing to where you could post the old school days where you just put it on a magnet on your refrigerator. Yes, that's available through cameras. You talk about the join codes. We learned that during COVID when we had to have that little short time about letting parents also get on there as well. That's what you're talking about, correct, is the join codes?
Yeah, and you know, a lot of times in these days, people are concerned about, well, what's actually in the curriculum my child's learning? And so just to be able to, you know, express, well, where can I find it, you know, is always good, so.
No doubt. A lot of things that y'all talk about here at the dais, a lot of statements that y'all make here, along with myself, gets carried throughout the organization. So we talked about parental empowerment, even in our prayer tonight. We are wide open. We don't mind that. As transparent as we possibly can be is certainly something that we strive to do so that you can see what's actually being taught inside of the classrooms.
And that's good to know, and I'm sure it's comforting for a lot of parents to know. Anybody else have any comments or questions about our curriculum presentation? If not, thank you. Good job, good
Thanks.
work. Okay. We have the business, legal, finance, and consent agenda. We do have an item that we will pull, which is item B. As always, it's gifts and donations. But I will go ahead and entertain a motion on items A through E with the exception of B.
I move that we approve items A through G?
E.
E, with the exception of
B.
C.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, the motion carries on items A through E with the exception of B. And then B is gifts and donations.
B.
Dr. Crawford?
It's always a heartwarming portion of our board meetings when we can actually recognize a community partner. Tonight, we have for $10,000 Optimum. They're here actually. Kurt Allison's going to say just a real brief thing on behalf of Optimum. He's got some folks that he'll introduce with him. But Optimum provided us $10,000. We did $2,000 each allocated to Wayne D. Boshier Center for exceptional programs, Birdwell Dual Language Immersion School, Caldwell Arts Academy, the MST portion of the Magnet School over at Moore Middle School, and Early College High School. We're really proud to have Optimum in our backyard here and appreciate the $10,000 donation that they provided. Kurt, if you'll go ahead and come on up at this time, and they would like a picture with the board. They brought a big check with a big amount for y'all to take a picture with.
I'd first like to start with Roman numeral 1, letter A, second letter B. No, I'm just joking. No, at Optimum, we're just so excited to be able to give back to our local community. And this is a very important community to us. We have over 800 employees right here in this community. And this is kind of extra. Our company's already done $40,000 worth of donations in this area through this Donors Choose program. And as a result, we had some funds and we said, hey, what better can we do with this? Let's pile it up and let's make the superintendent decide how to spend that money and let his team decide, because that's much better. We have a program every year we do for education systems across the country where each of our employees is given a certain amount of money and they can commit it to any classroom project that is listed through our Donors Choose program. And that's where a lot of this funding is. And that's obviously, it was great to hear how y'all are allocating it. But for us, we're just happy to be here, and education is very important. So we thank you. We also have a special guest from Representative, are you here? I guess not. Representative Moran's office? Yes, Moran's.
There you go.
That's what I thought. You know, I had a deer lease in Moran once. And I bet no one knows where Moran is, right? No? And we wanted to invite and let the state representative be a part of our donation and be a part of this. Are there any words you'd like to say?
Well, I would just say, on behalf of Congressman Moran, thank you for the donation, and thank you to all for what y'all do and for the stewardship here in our local community. We're very grateful, and on behalf of him, thank you.
All right. Well, let's get our photo.
Good deal.
Can I get some knuckle bucks? I'm giving money away.
So no one's eyes are closed.
It's near Albany, kind of between.
You're going to give that to the guy in the red shirt right there, Mr. Heffley. Moran, next to Albany Lions, WPA Stadium.
Moran? Oh, Albany. I'll be.
Same road to Leadership.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion on, we've already taken the check, but
I guess we got
go ahead and entertain a motion to approve that donation.
I move we approve the donation.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you once again, Optimum, for your generous donation. Okay, moving on to our curriculum, instruction, and consent agenda, items A through G. I'll go ahead and entertain a motion on those items.
I move we approve items A through G.
There you go. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. The motion carries. And we have a high school voter registration update.
All right.
Here comes Mr. Ron Jones, Deputy Superintendent Chief of Staff. I do think you're going to graduate, Mr. Jones. That would be awesome. Yeah. We still want the information provided per state law. You can probably dump it in the consent agenda now that we've grown up a little bit. And then if they want to pull the actual voter registration, then you can actually take the microphone and make the presentation. But tonight, you have a presentation prepared for the board.
And it is my pleasure. President Washman, trustees, Dr. Marty Crawford. It's my pleasure to bring you the spring high school voter registration numbers, and I do have the clicker right here. All right, first and foremost, the principal or the designee at each of our high schools serve as deputy registrar throughout the year. We had the numbers given to you in the fall of the year. That basically was a 3-month reporting period because it shut down in October. And now you have numbers for a 7-month period of time. And let me just say that these are the students who turned in registration cards. Doesn't necessarily represent all of the students who are registered. Many students will register when they receive their driver's license. So keep that in mind. But as this fall number, we had 558 eligible students, 211 turned in registration cards. We will continue that push through the remainder of this school year. Sometime in January, somewhere thereabouts, and these are primarily our senior students, that thing called senioritis kicks in. And it becomes a little bit more difficult to get our young people motivated to participate in the democratic process, but we will continue that push through the remainder of this school year. But those are our numbers for the fall. Of all of our high schools, and that would be Legacy, Tyler High, Rise, and Early College High School.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on high school voter registration? Okay, thank you. Thank you for your update.
That's brevity for you, that DMC.
See you next fall.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe.
Okay, discussion items, school board training report.
For the public that's out there, every year trustees are required to receive X amount of hours of continuing education. That is monitored by the designated board secretary, monitored very closely by the young lady that sits to my right over here. And I can publicly announce that everyone has completed or exceeded their continuing education hours as a school board trustee in Tyler ISD. That is state law for us to publicly announce that at the dais and to post it on our website. Congratulations to you 7 for the rigorous continuing education that you have received so that you can continue on with your trusteeship. And you're right. Congratulations. It now reloads.
Yep. Well, it's called continuing education.
I'd just like to thank Miss Gina, Miss Orr, for keeping us on our toes and keeping us straight on what we need to stay up on.
Ditto.
No doubt.
Yeah, we have some really good conversations, walking on eggshells around y'all. Hey, can you send them a reminder about this is due? And I'm like, no, you send them a reminder. So she does a good job with keeping us all in line.
Yeah.
There must be something legal about me being the contact person on this one. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, well, nobody contacted me about anything.
You didn't
So,
let me know my.
sorry, Andy. Well, you've been doing it the longest, so
No,
you should, well,
you're in trouble.
not bad. Okay. Future business, May 4th coming up. We have another board workshop. And May 15th, we have a regular meeting. And we also have several things coming up in May.
Wow.
Exciting time of year. A lot of graduations in there too. So
Excited about that. And we'll see y'all on May the 4th. Be with you.
May the 4th be with you. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. This meeting is adjourned.